Could you tell us, for those of us that aren't so familiar with this, could you tell us about psychodrama?
So psychodrama is really a method of enactment, of enacting problem situations that use other members of the group to facilitate that process. So if, let's say you said that you wanted to work on a family situation that had caused some pain or humiliation when you were a kid, and I might say, so where did this happen? Let's set it up, and we'd use the space in the room, who was there, and what happened, and you would choose people from the group, say, to be your brother, your sister, your mother, and your father, and we would reenact what had happened. And probably then invite you to express what you couldn't express in the moment, to reverse roles perhaps with your father or mother to get a better understanding of what was happening for them. And then sometimes in psychodrama it can be very powerful as a way of completing it, is to do it the way you would have liked it to have done, or to have some kind of completion that is satisfying. Also, both in psychodrama and in Gestalt, there's a strong emphasis on completing what was incomplete or unfinished. So sometimes you get terribly, deeply poignant scenes where someone couldn't get to a parent or a child or someone that they loved in time before they died, so they couldn't say what they wanted to say. And so you can set up like a hospital bed or scene of an accident if you have to. It becomes so real. It still stuns me, the power of that kind of work, and the opportunity to complete. And I remember in my own drama, my mother died before she got a chance to meet my wife and kids, and the psychodramatist who was facilitating that workshop said, you know, where's one of your favorite places you spent with your mother? Or do you want to create one? And would you like to tell her what's happened since and introduce her to your wife and your kids? And so choosing someone to be my mother, my wife, and my children, very powerful, very, very satisfying. And the brain kind of splits. It knows it didn't happen, and yet emotionally there's something that did happen that really registers.
So you're mentioning groups, and both with the psychodrama and with Gestalt, you've mentioned how it can be used in a group. And could you tell us more about group psychotherapy and how that can be helpful?
I think one of the nicest things about a group is that individual person who's hurting in some way or another, when somebody says to them, I'm interested in you, I like you, I wish you'd show more of yourself, when their own inner voice, the message is, people won't be interested, so I'll hide myself. Now in individual therapy, a therapist can say that and even mean it, but that person is, I'm paying this person, therapists are nice people, they're not going to tell me they don't like me. Particularly if in the group it emerges that people reach a real level of integrity and honesty, not cruelly, but say, you know, I probably wouldn't pick you as someone that I would be the most interested in, because I'm really interested in sports and adventure, and I've heard you say that you like to stay home and read and quiet. So it's not that I disapprove, I just probably wouldn't. So in that culture, when someone says, I'm interested in you, and I recall very poignantly this woman who believed that men would not be interested and would not stay with her. And it stemmed from a father that she really, really loved, and they had a wonderful relationship. But for whatever reason he didn't tell her that he was leaving the family because of the marriage breakdown. And either probably sparing himself the pain and also her, he thought, he just didn't turn up. And you know, she waited and waited and waited and felt, of course, that it was her fault and that he didn't really love her. and really played that out through her life. And she raised this in the group, and she said, and nobody in this group's interested in me either, which had some truth because she reveals so little. But one guy fortunately said, I am. And then we went on and did some very deep and powerful work about that loss of her father not coming back. She chose someone to be her father, and they dialogued, and she reversed roles, and she became her father. And as him said, it wasn't about you. I loved you. I just didn't love your mother, and I couldn't be here anymore. And it was too painful for me. And then she reversed back, and she hears this, and she gets it. And then I had her do some work with this guy, just right there in the moment, to help her not avoid the contact. And I pointed out how she kind of turned away and how she deflected to just try this. And I don't know what happened, but something I think really changed for her.
Yeah.
So it's the way that it can be very real, very authentic, and powerful. And I don't want to leave the impression that every piece of work is life-changing. And, you know, some people really struggle week after week after week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing about group is that people can think, wow, I thought I was the only one in the world with this problem. And then they're hearing and seeing other people and getting accepted for it and supported. And yeah, that could have been me. Or I paid such attention, I wonder what you were going to do, because I'm stuck in my job, just like you, and I'm scared to death to venture out, and seeing you do what you do has really encouraged me. And the other thing is the completion of unfinished business, that getting a chance to say goodbye to someone we didn't get a chance to say. Hearing someone important to us say that they did care, they did love us, and in a role reversal, well, you know, it's not how I grew up. You know, we never told our kids, my parents never said I love you, it just seemed awkward, so, but I hope that I showed, and if I didn't, I want to tell you, I'm sorry I didn't, and I do, and I'm really proud of you. You know, I tell everybody, you know, what you're doing or whatever. And that comes from them. You know, I don't have someone say, tell them you love them, tell them, you know, it comes from them in the role of the other. And sometimes, you know, they'll say, no, didn't love you. Probably never, but then they get into, probably never loved anybody. You know, I'm the most narcissistic guy you're ever gonna meet. So no, don't love anybody, not you. You know, hey, and did you do anything for me today? So they get it. That didn't matter what they did. This person was not capable of loving them. So then they get that it wasn't about them. Now, is this a miracle? Are they never ever going to have some self-doubts about how lovable they are? Probably not. But it can make a difference. And sometimes it's very powerful.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today, Ari.
And me with you.
Many thanks.
And the same. Thank you.